Joe back again at the Monkey Cave, sharing with you my tools, right? So this is my JD squared tube bender. I've had this tube bender about 20 years. When I originally started with this tube bender, it was a manual tube bender, so it had to be bolted to the ground. At the time, I lived in an apartment and built off-road trucks out of my carport, essentially, right? That's where I got my start. I called myself Carport Creations, things like that. So JD squared tube bender, used to have to bolt it up outside. I've had it for 20 years. This thing is a beast. So a handful of years after I bought it, I worked for a construction company and had the opportunity to build some handrails for that company. So they helped me basically convert this over to a hydraulic tube bender. Ever since then, it's been about 15 years, and this thing is a monster. It will bend anything I put in it. 2-inch, 250 volt tube, barely even changes the tone of the motor. So full hydraulic, no air over hydraulic, any of that. Full hydraulic. I have forward and reverse. So with this bender, I can go backwards, I can go forwards, right? Of course, you can't bend tube backwards. It'd be nice if I could figure out a way to straighten it out, because occasionally you overbend things trying to account for spring back, right? It's where you bend the material over, and then once you relieve pressure, it springs back just a little bit. Okay, so I have a 2-inch die. I have an 1 3/4 die, 1.5 die, and 1 1/4 die. Of course, you can always have more dies. I'd need a 1-inch, so on and so forth. But generally, this thing has built a lot of trucks for me. Now, the die itself right here needs to be clean and free of debris, right? I'm about due for a cleaning on this guy. All right, what happens is the material needs to fit in here pretty firmly. Then, as it's pulled through the follower right here, all that energy stretches the outside of the tube, compresses the inside. But by fitting in this die perfectly, it does not allow the material to deform. That's what would happen if you were trying to bend tube in a pipe bender, so on and so forth. It's going to force a deformation. So these are made specifically for building race cars, building tubes, things like that. You want to keep this nice and clean in here. Keep your followers nice and clean. Consider this tool a moneymaker, right? So something to take into consideration when purchasing a tube bender is the bender itself. All of this stuff is not that expensive. These dies are a pretty big hunk of steel, and they are what is really expensive because they have to be machined in a specific manner. So take that under advisement, right? These things are expensive. Don't loan them out because sometimes people don't want to give them back, things like that, right? Only the people you truly trust, and I don't trust that many people. So take that for what it's worth, right?